Welcome to the first installment of things I learned in theater school that are so dumbed down they're technically wrong. I'm Douglas Nyback, this is DNA, and today we are talking about the as if. Okay, so what is an as if? An as if is, say your character needs to feel sadness. At its base state, an as if is somebody saying, okay, your character is sad, so this is as if your mom died. Go. We've all heard the stories of actors saying, oh, I was thinking about my dog dying. I was thinking about when my mother passed. I was thinking about when my grandma died, or I was thinking about when my husband proposed. Happiness does exist in film and television performance. I was thinking about when I got my very first job and I felt incredible, all these things. And that puts you into an emotional state that is akin to what your character is going through in that moment. This is not a new concept, and it's not even a bad concept. The as if can work. The problem is that it works the way high school biology works. When you get to university or you're doing your doctorate, you're realizing that what you learned in high school was so technically simple and watered down that it's not actually correct. So the as if does good things. But what are they? Essentially, what the as if does is when you're starting out as an actor, it teaches you that you contain emotions. That might sound silly, but think about it. When you're young, when I think back to when I learned these concepts, it was like high school drama and then college. I was, 15, 16 to 19, right? And I didn't know about myself. I thought that I was a totally perfectly fine person who was self-contained and had a clear understanding of himself. And the problem is that that's almost never true. Don't believe me? Go to therapy. And the as if was a really wonderful tool in teaching me, my character is going through something that I can't immediately relate to. And I am unaware that there are things within me that mirror this character's experience. So saying, my character is extremely sad. Well, this is as if I had to leave the person I did theater camp with and totally fell in love with, and I was devastated. It was like the first time in my life that I ever really felt tremendous grief and loss. And so I pull from that to bring out an emotion that is similar to what my character is going through. But here's the problem. It's not what my character is going through. It's what I went through at a previous version of myself in a previous iteration of my life. And this is where we get into the problem with the as if. Because what the as if actually does is it teaches us that we contain emotion, and then it forces us to start saying, okay, I understand that this script is a round hole, and I have this square peg, and I'm gonna shove this square peg into this round hole until it friggin' works. That might work for a take, but the process is inherently dishonest because I am saying the script is demanding this of me and I am going to give it that and you're going to like it. And I might, but odds are it's going to reach a point of diminishing returns. So there's also the trap of eventually you're going to just give fewer It's like what happened in that situation where I was like, I love this person and I had to leave them. And then I used it for every friggin' song I had to do in musical theater in college, which was like a lot of them that involve love. Like musicals are just written about people who are either in love or going through revolutions in France. And eventually I got to a point like a few semesters deep in college where I was just like, I don't give a crap about this person anymore. I don't care about Katie. I don't care. I'm sorry, Katie. I'm over it, man. And then I found myself in this position where I was like, well, what do I do? And then I had to start letting go of the as if and start asking the question, well, what is my character actually going through? And do I understand that holistically? Am I believing that fiction with every fiber of my being? Because if I'm not, then of course I have to manipulate myself into feeling. And this is where the as if stops being useful. It is a beginner level concept. Teaches us that we contain multitudes, but then our job is to take the story, and the story is a container for us that we need to pour ourselves holistically into. And when we do that, we will feel what is true to the character, not what was true of us back then. So how does the as if help? It informs us that we have lived a life, even if we aren't aware of how whole that experience has been. And how does it hinder? It, at its base, forces us to devalue the experience of our character in the fiction so that we may substitute what our experience was in the past. And it inherently creates a pane of glass between us and the story. And audiences can tell when that pane of glass is there. They can tell there's something missing. They can tell that this is an actor trying to force themselves into feeling something. Their bullshit detectors are extremely precise, and they're never going to call you out on it. Casting's never going to call you out on that. They might just say, okay, that was fine. Who's next? Because if you are having your own experience and not the experience of the fiction, you're not doing your job. And we're going to be able to tell. So if you're new and starting out, you're going to be taught the as if. Take it for what it is. I'm using this as an exercise to learn things about myself. Thank you so much for that knowledge. Then I will take that understanding of myself and get busy working to understand the fiction so that I can pour myself holistically into that. And if you're an intermediate to an advanced level actor who's still holding on to that concept of using past experience to try to make a fiction that you have never fully experienced because it's new, like what you've experienced in the past, then maybe it's time to let that go and move on and accept that you are more advanced than that. Okay, I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please like, subscribe, tell all your friends and colleagues, strangers on the street, just be like, hey, watch DNA. You should do that on YouTube. And if you have any questions, comments, confusions, or complaints, please let me know in the comments down below. I appreciate your time. Go be people.